Wood and Metal Workshop. Gotten quite a few emails and requests for a shop tour. So we're going to start today with what we call the metalworking fab automotive side of the shop. We'll get to the wood shop in the next couple weeks sometime. So start out, we got the shop itself is 32 by 40 exterior dimensions, 2 by 6 walls. We got fully insulated, in slab radiant heat, fired by an electric boiler. When we built the shop, that was electricity was cheap, and that was the way to go. We're thinking about putting in a propane boiler next year because propane's dropped and electricity's gone up. So we'll make that decision when we come to it. We at one time thought about doing an outdoor wood boiler, but decided that that just wasn't feasible because we're not here physically all the time. We are, the shop is at our lake place out in the country, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. So main entrance for the garage, we have one garage door. It is 10 by 12, so we can fit just about anything through here. When I built the shop, I was doing some work for a local RV dealer and had to have the door, make sure the door was big enough to get some RVs in to work on them for them. So when we got, let me do a pan shot over here. This is our storage wall. It's only a couple years old. It's still a work in progress. Made the brackets ourselves. The side walls are 14 feet tall, and this shelf goes pretty much the whole depth till we get back to the loft area. So we got, like I said, all our storage is here, or a good chunk of it. We have, since we're out in the sticks here, we tend to keep a lot of stuff that we probably shouldn't. Just because to go get to a good hardware store, it's a 2-hour round trip. So that kind of forces us to keep stuff on hand out here that we might need for a future project or emergency that comes up. We got some plastic bins up here that have different stuff in them. Some are electric, some are plumbing. Of course, we have a lot of stuff, like I said, that we don't necessarily have here all the time. We got a set of tires, spare tires up there. We've got the heater for our soft-sided hot tub, which is in here for the winter. Got some the kids' desk up there that needs to be refinished, and then we'll get moved along. Fortunately, don't have any grandkids yet, but someday I will, and we'll need that kind of stuff. But we do have friends who have young kids, so they come bring the stuff out. Over in this corner, come with me, Colton. This is a toy box that Colton's building for a friend of his. Some of those kids that are here occasionally. I like these card files. In this case, we got to use them for nuts and bolt storage. This one fits out these little. Let's see if I can get an empty one here. These little boxes from the hardware store. They fit in here really good, so keep a lot of hardware in there. Got another one over here. This one takes 15 of these little red bins in each drawer. So that gives us a lot of storage. Got some of the cabinets up on the wall. This is kind of a dead space storage right now. I've got a big commercial air dryer, air dryer that's going to get plumbed in when we redo the air lines in the shop. My brake that you've seen in some other videos. My home built sandblast cabinet. Over here in the corner, we have an enclosure for the compressor. Kind of keeps the noise down a little bit. The door is also doubles as a clamp rack, so that swings open to access the compressor, to drain it and service it. Then we got down here on the floor, we have a pile of vices that I picked up at auction. Horizontal bandsaw on wheels. This is something that we don't use all the time, but when we need it, it's a very handy tool, and putting it on casters allows us to move it around to where it can be used and not be stuck in a stationary position. Here we got a 12-ton old style Harbor Freight press. It's given to me by a friend, and I took it and cleaned it up, repainted it, and rebuilt the jack, and now it works pretty good. I did have to, as like with a lot of Harbor Freight stuff, this tube was being deformed by the bolts pulling through it, so I made up some plates and tacked them in place to support, to give that tube extra strength. The cast plates that come with the Harbor Freight, the press plates that come with, are junk, so got some 1-inch steel plate, A36 I believe on that. And then I like to paint all my press brake tooling yellow. So this way nobody goes, oh, that's scrap, and tosses it in the scrap bucket. So all that gets painted yellow. I do have to find I did have a milk crate with all this stuff in it down on the floor here at one point in time, but milk crate got used for something else. So kind of have a penchant for Craftsman block grinders. I've got quite a few of them. Right now I've got 3 set up for use. Got this is the original one that I bought back in 1991, I believe. Picked it up at an estate sale. It needs to be redone. It's kind of rusty. Stand I've already redone. This big heavy cast iron stand, perfect for holding a grinder. Craftsman drill press I bought in 91 or 92. AMT cross slide vise, which really helps your drill press become a little more versatile. I've also got a table, the regular standard table for it, and I've got a bunch of different fixture tables that actually clamp into this vise. I've got a big one that comes all the way back around here with adjustable fence for woodworking, and a couple other wooden ones here that work really good for that. Got another Craftsman block grinder over here. Bought this one last year. This is another 3rd horsepower one. Came with a stand. Picked this up at a school auction, and it actually happens to be from the school that I went to for junior high, and I actually used this in school as well. So kind of a little bit of back history on that. A lot of people don't like these hang-up shop vacs. My sister got me this for Christmas. She asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted one of these. This was about 10 years ago, just about the time I built the shop, and it's been mounted to the post here in different configurations ever since. And tell you what, boy, that thing comes in handy. Got a 25-foot hose on it. I can vacuum vehicles. I can clean up messes. It's a really handy tool to have around the shop. I might just scoot over here. Right here we got a couple more of the those carver clamps. They're getting shipped out. The guy finally found somebody to buy them. Kind of happy about that. But we've already looked at the closing drill press in another video, but this is the big closing I bought back last fall. Love this thing. If you want to see see it in action, it's in one of the Tuesday night shop talks. We go over all its functions and stuff. Fortunately, we've also gone over the big, heavy fixturing welding table. It's used for everything, for weld fixturing, for auto work. Everything gets used on this table. Have some sheets of plywood around that we toss on top of here if we don't need the holes for anything or not welding, just to block everything off, make a nice smooth surface for working. Also, in one of the videos, we went over the Harbor Freight Steve-O style storage tool bench. This thing has become just indispensable. It gives you a lot of tool storage for not a whole lot of money, and it's a great thing to have here. Got another vise here that's going to get mounted up on a receiver hitch to go, style hitch to go in the off the edge of the table here. Back in the corner over here we have our welders. Got the Lincoln SP250 that I bought in 1990. It's been a great machine for me. Hasn't ever given me any real problems. Knock on steel. Oxyacetylene setup for heating and cutting. I don't use it for a whole lot of cutting anymore. It's become kind of obsolete with the VersaCut plasma cutter that I picked up last summer, and then the TIG welder as well. Those are on a cart that's work in progress. Kind of stuck back here in the corner at the moment. Don't do a whole lot of TIG, so right now I've got it so I can access the plasma cutter. Still got to make lead holders and all that kind of stuff for it. I've got some tubes for rod holders and all that stuff set up. So we'll get that project done here, hopefully in the next couple of months sometime. Moving along, we've got our big vise. This is something that a lot of guys have questioned. It's a simplex vise. This is a 61S, which is, and it weighs 145 pounds all by itself. Built a new stand for it when I took the old vise down. I had a 3-inch square tube on here, and it had some flex to it. I went up to a 5-inch square tube, same base plate, and it's very sturdy now. Can't move this thing at all, and much better vise. This compared to the Chinese vise that I had on the stand before. You can notice the base here is cut to the exact shape of the foot, so no matter where I swivel, except for directly over one of the mounting bolts, I got free all the way to the floor. So you can let stuff hang past the vise, nothing ever gets in the way. You can swing it around in any direction. Works pretty good. We've also got power in the vise, something that I like. Makes using grinders really easy. Allows you to just plug in right here, or any tool, sawzall, bandsaw, whatever you need to use, and you don't have to run an extension cord. Your power is right there all the time. And the last thing on the metalworking side of the shop here is the Rockwell Delta bandsaw. It's a very speed model, so it will cut metal or wood. Picked this up last spring. Got it moved into the shop, and I got it wired this fall finally. Sorry.
My foot hit it.
Cuts pretty good. We've got a metal cutting blade on it right now, because I use this saw mostly for metal. It's the only one I've got. Looking for a 14-inch Rockwell Delta saw to have on the woodworking side of the shop, so that one can be dedicated to wood, and this one can be don't have to be switching blades out to go back and forth wood to metal. This will be the dedicated metal saw, and the other one will be the dedicated wood saw, unless I need to cut something big, because this one has a huge throat on it. 20-inch saw, and got about
Wow, he's not even gonna guesstimate. That's scary.
I'm gonna guesstimate at 13 inches. Oh, I was wrong. It's 11 3/4.
First time for everything.
This is what I use to lube when I'm cutting metal. It's the Tapmatic Edge Lube from LPS. It's a wax-based cutting lube. You just run it against the blade, and it coats the blade and keeps your cuts cool. So this is a 3-phase machine. Don't have 3-phase in the shop, so I've got a VFD. VFD is mounted behind, up out of the way, and then the control panel is right here where you can access it all the time very easily from the front of the machine. So that's pretty much our, well, we got a few more things here, I guess. Got this Craftsman chest down here. It holds all our drilling stuff and a few milling cutters that we have in the shop. But we don't have a mill yet, but I got a good deal on them at an auction, so of course I bought them. Bottom drawer holds all our grinding wheels and cut off wheels and flap discs. Gives nice easy access right here where you're working. You don't have to take 20 steps to grab something. And the last chest we have in the shop. There's another Craftsman box that holds all our machinist type tools. On the top floor here we got miscellaneous V-blocks and the guides for our tap guide that we have over here, and a bunch of the tables for your taps and that kind of stuff. And here we got our calipers and micrometers, both digital and standard. are in that drawer. Here, more micrometers and other measuring tools. Here we got a lot of miscellaneous stuff. There's parallel sets and some other stuff in here. Radius gauge set. I've got some more drill bit holders.
Gonna need to borrow those.
So, and the last one, once again, a lot of miscellaneous stuff. I've got some machinist jacks, the sign plate, and a bunch of other stuff stored in here. So, and then I got the Gessner chest on top. I keep all my taps and dies in here, and tap handles and that kind of stuff are stored in there. And then I've got an old tap and die set that needs to be, got an old tap and die set that I picked up that needs to be cleaned up and reworked, get the rust off of it, and so I can put that back into service. So, well, that's the metalworking side of the shop, guys. Automotive as well. As you can tell, it's getting kind of tight. We got a lot of equipment and not a huge space, so 1,200 square feet, and all this was just in about half of it. So it's it is what it is. You work in the space that you have, and kind of size, like the welding table, I sized for this spot. I knew this is where I wanted it to be. I have to admit, the two old toolboxes have been everywhere in the shop, pretty much at one point or another. Different places here or there. Finally had them over here for a couple of years. It works well for me. Got shelves above for storage and good light. So this is where we decided that this bench would live permanently. And so I had to size this table to fit in this space. Still allow me to use the post vise, which of course has power coming from the floor from the build. So we knew that's where it was going to be to begin with. On the woodworking side, it's stayed a lot more the same over the years. Part of that is because I have dust collection and electric in the floor for some of the stationary dust collection and power in the floor for some of the stationary tools, and so we keep adding more equipment and adding new skills to go with that equipment, and so that's where we are for today. If you like what you saw, please hit that little red subscribe button down in your lower right hand corner, and we'll catch you in the next video.